ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ವಿದ್ಯಾಪೀಠ ವಿಧಾತಾರಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾವಾರಿಧಿ ಚಂದಿರಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ವತ್ಸಲಂ ವಂದೇ ಮಹಾಮಹಿಮ ಸದ್ಗುರು. ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. Udupi is one of the holy places and is known throughout the country for its rich and varied heritage, customs, religious traditions, and it is a central hub for the propagation of Advaita philosophy. It is a spiritual and holistic abode of Lord Krishna. Our present protagonist, Sri Madhwacharya, was born at Pachaka near Udupi. We wonder, why did Madhwacharya select a small village like Pachaka to be born? There must be something significant, right? So, let us today know the significance and history of Udupi and the birth of Madhwacharya in today's part. Udupi is one of the holy places in the Parashurama Kshetra. Who is Lord Parashurama? Why did it get the name of Parashurama Kshetra? Lord Parashurama was the incarnation of Lord Vishnu itself. He was a great Kshatriya warrior. He conquered the globe. He moved around the globe 21 times, and the main reason of his birth was to just punish all the corrupt kings. He was doing so. He conquered around the globe 21 times and punished all the corrupt kings and destroyed them, and the land thus conquered, he donated all of them to the sages to perform their sacrifices and yajnas. Finally, he had no land left for himself to sit and meditate. Thinking so, he shot his weapon in the Arabian Sea, and the sea receded. The land so obtained came to be known as Parashurama Kshetra, which is surrounded by 7 places. What are they? Rajatapithapura, Udupi; Kumaradri, Kokke Subramanya; Kumbhasi; Kotishwara; Kroda, the place of Lord Shankar Narayana; Gokarna; Mukambika, what we call it as Kallur. Udupi was previously known as Rajatapithapura. Why did it get the name of Rajatapithapura? What do we mean by Rajatapithapura? The city of silver pedestal. Previously, there used to live a king, Ramabhoja, who used to rule the entire kingdom of Parashurama Kshetra. He wanted to perform a sacrifice once. In order to perform a sacrifice, one must plow the land thoroughly to remove any impurities left in the land underground. While doing so, a serpent which lived underground was killed. It was actually done by mistake. But in order to atone his sin, what we consider as to do prayashchitta, he built a big silver pedestal and performed the sacrifice as usual. He built a big silver pedestal and worshipped Lord Parashurama to atone his sin. Lord Parashurama, who was completely pleased by the devotion of King Ramabhoja, he himself sat on the silver pedestal by taking the form of a linga, and from then itself the deity came to be known as Ananteshwara today, very after. There is even a pond called Ananta Sarovara nearby the temple of Ananteshwara. Another story is that Udupi, the city of Udupi, got the name by the combination of 2 Sanskrit words, Udu and Pa. Udu meaning the stars and Pa meaning the Lord of stars. How is Udupa related, the Lord of stars, the moon lord Chandra? How is he related to Udupi? Because once it so happened, the moon lord was cursed by his father-in-law Daksha Prajapati due to some issues. Since then, we today find the moonlight, he increases to a full moon up to Paurnami and then slowly recedes until Amavasya. This is because of a curse given by Daksha Prajapati. His 27 daughters, the stars according to Hindu astrology, were married to the moon lord. Present protagonist, Sri Madhwacharya, was born at Pajaka near Udupi, which is also one of the places of the Parshurama Kshetra. Pajaka is surrounded by four ponds on all of its sides. What are they? Parashutirtha, Banatirtha, Gadatirtha, and Dhanustirtha. These 4 ponds were developed by the breaking of the earth upon the actions of the weapon caused by Lord Parshurama. A very humble couple lived in Pajaka, Madhyageha Bhatta and Vedavati Devi. They belonged to Nadillaya community. Madhyageha Bhatta got the name Bhatta. Bhatta, this is actually a title which is entitled to a person who is well versed in all the scriptures. Madhyageha Bhatta was a very intelligent scholar. Actually, a line comes in Sumada Vijaya, Vijnana Bharata Purana Maharahasya, which means Madhyageha Bhatta was very well versed in all the scriptures, including the scientific approaches, and moreover, he understood, he knew the sole objectives, the sole prameyas of all the scriptures, including Mahabharata. Hence, Madhyageha Bhatta, the Bhatta title which was given to Madhyageha Bhatta was completely appropriate. Though he was such a big scholar, yet he led a very simple life. What was his daily duties? He just simply used to visit Udupi, take the holy dip in the pond of Anantasarovara, have darshan of Lord Ananteshwara, do his daily course of Sandhya Vandhana, Puja and all, and completely the whole day he used to simply immerse himself in preachings of Mahabharata, Bhagavata, Ramayana and other scriptures and giving discourses on them. This was his daily routine. The doings of God is quite unpredictable. Madhyageha Bhatta, though he wasn't rich in terms of money, what we calculate today. Today, one is considered rich only if he has a lump sum of money with him, lump sum of amount, if he has a good amount of bank balance and all. But Madhyageha Bhatta, he wasn't very rich. He wasn't rich at all, actually, to be clarifying. He was rich in terms of knowledge. He had everything with him. The couple were even blessed with a girl child. Madhyageha Bhatta was craving for a son to be born. See, in previous days it was considered a boy child is the one who makes a way to our salvation. It is true. But Madhyageha Bhatta's vision was completely different. He wanted a son who establishes a philosophy of Dvaita Siddhanta. Because before the birth of Madhwacharya, there were many philosophies, and many philosophies completely confused the minds of all the people. Everyone was confused as what is the ultimate truth. So, in order to remove all those doubts and confusions from the minds of people, Madhyageha Bhatta wanted a son who completely establishes our philosophy and gives us the ultimate truth, that is the supremacy of God. Seems like God completely took pity on them. Madhyageha Bhatta and Vedavati Devi believed nothing can be achieved effortless. So, the couple moved to Udupi and started performing seva, austerities to Lord Ananteshwara. They did seva for 12 long years. They did the vratas like Vishnu Panchaka, Payovrata, Bhishma Panchaka, and Ekadashi and Chaturmasya were already in their everyday routine. All these vratas were no doubt performed by them. They did with complete sanctity and complete determination and devotion towards the Lord. At the same time, apart from doing this, apart from performing all the austerities and seva to Lord Ananteshwara, Madhyageha Bhatta didn't leave his preaching and giving discourses. This is what we call as determination and devotion towards one's dharma. Finally, after 12 long years, after the long wait, Vedavati Devi became pregnant. Knowing this, they returned back to Pajaka again. It is very astonishing to hear Vedavati Devi was always active and seemed always happy throughout her pregnancy. She neither experienced any nausea or vomitings or morning sickness or any other such. She was always immersed in the deep thoughts of Lord Krishna and his doings. Finally, after the completion of 9 months, she gave, as the sun shone brightly on the auspicious occasion of Vijayadashmi, Vedavati gave birth to a son. Usually, babies cry upon birth. But the son which was born to Vedavati Devi, he was smiling. Why is it so? Because Lord Vayu did not sustain the pain of Garbhavasa. He directly entered the body of the child, ousting the jiva within the child. Hence, he came out with a complete smile on his face. This might be even the reason he got the name as Ananda Tirtha. Previously, before Vedavati Devi gave birth to a child, while the days were nearing, a strange thing happened. There was a dumb beggar who used to simply beg on the streets of Lord Ananteshwara and fill his stomach. One day, he simply climbed the big tomb pillar and suddenly shouted in front of all the people. Everyone were astonished because he was dumb and he couldn't even speak a single letter. That day, he immediately started to speak and his words seemed completely reasonable to everyone. He simply started shouting. He was saying that soon a person who would be born in our community, so who would establish our philosophy. Everyone were astonished, but when Madhwacharya was born to Vedavati and his face shone brightly that day, everyone remembered those words of the beggar. As soon as the son was born, after a few days, as per our rituals, Madhyageha Bhatta named his son as Vasudeva. Vasudeva is actually the name of Lord Vishnu, and this name completely seemed reasonable for Madhwacharya because Asu meaning prana or knowledge. This boy was mainly born on this world to impart knowledge to all the people. So this name seemed completely reasonable. He was born to impart knowledge and remove all the doubts from the minds of people. This is how the birth of Madhwacharya took place. So, in the next part, let us know how Madhwacharya exhibited superhuman powers and showed miracles since the age of infancy itself, when he was just 3 months old. Let us know about his miraculous powers and supernatural powers in the coming part. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.